Guess which YieldMax ETF will be paying out this week? You have 3 guesses and the first 2 don't count. Hello my friends, it's Legend. Time for another MSTY update. We have MSTY going to be going ex-dividend this week. That's an exciting time for most of us who are in MSTY, I imagine. Just wanted to kind of give a little positive side to MSTY. I know we did have that drop. I imagine a lot of people might have been a little worried about the stock, but it looks like it's going well. Just looking at the chart right here, I'm looking at a 1-year chart on the Morningstar. The blue line there is just the price. And as you can see, for the year, the price has gone from about $21.19 to about $37.58. And that's just the price of the stock for the year. And then we get paid a dividend every single month. Well, every single 4 weeks now. But with that dividend added back in, we're looking at $84.58. So that really paints a different picture for MSTY. You have to be excited about that for sure. For others who may have just got in or who have been in for say about 3 months, here's a 3-month chart showing the blue line of that price again. As you can see, it is overall got an upward trend. And then you throw that dividend in and just shoots right up above it. So again, another positive chart in my books. Now, what I normally do for the ex-dividend time is I will purchase shares at ex-dividend date. So on the ex-dividend date, the price of the stock will drop by the dividend amount that is paid out. And that is how they pay the dividend. They pay it out of the stock itself. So the price will reflect that dividend. So as that dividend is paid out, if you have a $49 stock, or in this case, we'll say a $37 stock, and if the dividend pays out and it's $2 dividend, you're going to have a price open up at $35. I would then go in there and I'm going to purchase more shares at that $35 price in hopes that what it will do is recover that dividend, get back up to that $37, and those shares that I had just purchased are now $2 into good. But overall, my dollar cost averaging price does drop or takes into account of that. So when I do that, I am dollar cost averaging in. So if you purchased at a higher price and the price is now at 37 and say you paid or you're in it at 40, if you were to buy more shares at the 37, then that gets averaged into your cost, and that will drop the price of your average. So your average price will then come down slightly, or it really depends on how many shares you buy, right? But that's just how the averaging of it works. So I normally would wait until the ex-dividend for that. I know on my first time when I got into these YieldMaxes, I had got in and I got in right before, I think it was the day before the dividend. This was not on MSTY. I believe this was probably AMDY, but I had purchased the day before the dividend because I thought, well, I'll get that dividend and get that big chunk of money all of a sudden. Sure, it's going to come out of that price, but if it recovers, then I'm all good, right? But you do have the NAV erosion. All of these have the NAV, and some of them erode and some of them do not. In this case, MSTY is not eroding. The price here, as you can see, from this point up to this point, that price is not eroding. That price is going up. So in this case, the NAV is not being eroded versus a stock like or the ETF of AMDY where it has been eroding. So here you can see on AMDY for an example, and I have AMDY, but as I said in my last video, I have put them on notice in my portfolio. If they cannot turn it around in the next month or so, I will be looking probably to sell out of this one, and pretty much about a break even, because when you add in the dividend here, it's about a break even for me. But anyway, as you can see, this is a different picture, right? So as that price here, the blue line, has been going down, so that price of the NAV is eroding, so it is going down. This is not the same picture as we have for MSTY. MSTY for the year chart here, so we'll compare apples to apples. It has been going up. Overall, we are at a 37, and we were originally at a 21. So this one has been going up. Now it has traded sideways a bit. It has gone up. It has gone down. But in the end, from start to beginning, it has been going up. And if you look at the 3-month chart here, you can see that's a nice trend up. And on AMDY, if I look at a 3-month chart, it's a nice trend going down. So it's a different picture. It's a different stock. AMD is volatile, of course, because they have had a lot of pressure, and the stock itself for AMD has been going down. So that has affected AMDY. I'm still hoping that this one can turn around, but I have to eventually decide on whether or not I'm going to stick out with AMDY or I'm going to drop AMDY eventually. But again, this isn't about AMDY. This is about MSTY, and I just wanted to give the example of a good NAV and a bad NAV. This is AMDY, not so good. MSTY, much better. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to give an example of the two. And when you hear people speak about NAV erosion, it is true, but not all of these are eroding. And MSTY, as you can see, is not. And then you tack on that dividend, and it's awesome. It's awesome. So we are increasing. We are going up. Can't complain there. I'm loving it, and I will stick with MSTY, looks like, for a little while. So I'm excited about this week. It is the dividend week for MSTY. Will be Group D, as in dog. They will be paying out this week. So I'm super excited about that. Do you have any MSTY? What's your thoughts on MSTY? Are you excited? I know I am. What are your thoughts? What do you think we'll actually receive for the dividend on MSTY? Very curious to see what you think. Throw it down in the comments. Just throw out some suggestions, some numbers, some guesses. That's all it is really for us. None of us are really part of the company, so we don't know how well it's going to turn out. But it's fun to guess, right? So I'm going to shoot my number out there and say $3. I'm probably undershooting it. I hope I am, because Bitcoin has been running, right? Bitcoin has been running. And just for fun, let's shoot over to Webull chart, and let's see what Bitcoin is actually doing today. Okay, so here we are on Bitcoin. Oh, wow. All right, it's higher than I've thought. I haven't looked at it in the last few days. I know it was teetering on that 100K, and then it would drop back down, and then it go back up, and it looks like we're back up again. We're at 106. That's $106,000 per coin on Bitcoin. So I imagine Mr. is probably doing nicely. So let's look at Mr. They had a little bit of a down day today. The 20-day moving average here, which is this blue line, it is riding on up. We had a little bit of a down day today, but if you look after hours, it's back up. It's shot up another almost 0.5%. So this one here, it's still moving up. I like it overall. If you draw a line here, we can draw a trend line, and you just start right here, and you can go about like this right here, and you can see we got a low trend line. It's going up, so we'll take that, right? We'll take it. Let's look at MSTY, and MSTY itself here, again, riding that MA20 straight on up. So right up here, I imagine there might have been a lot of people who jumped in because this thing had that big dividend, and they jumped in, and of course then he had that huge fall, and that hurt. It did hurt. At $44, dropped down to like 33. That was scary for a lot of people, I imagine. A lot of people wondered if they had got into the wrong thing. But I'm not saying you did or you didn't get into the wrong thing, but I'm glad I'm in MSTY. It is riding on up. Everything has its ups and everything has its downs. Overall, this one here is going on up. So I'm going to continue to stay in MSTY and ride this thing up. And I'm looking forward to the dividend this week. I hope you are too. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. It is much appreciated, and it helps to get the channel out there to other MSTY holders. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, legend out.